Just remember, FPL is tough, but you are tougher. Hi guys, I'm FPL Nymphrya and welcome back to the home of FPL videos. Game week 23 has been interesting to say the least. Until Sunday afternoon, I was in a world of hurt. I was ready to write this game week off and move on as quickly as possible. Well, I'm a bit sleep deprived on account of staying up until 4 a.m. watching the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl. Woo woo! Go on Bucks, go on Bucks, go on, yes. So bear with me in this video. Let's take a look at how I got on in game week 23. Martinez. I love this guy. I love him. I had a feeling he'd want to prove a point against Arsenal, and he did just that. Thought he'd go for it. 9 points from his minutes played, his clean sheet, his 3 saves, and 2 bonus points. What an absolute legend that guy is. In defence, it's not been great. You'll see I have me and his 1 point in my team. Not happy about it at all. Hadn't considered him for Bednarek at all until the double game week announcement. Burnley just were not even in my thoughts whatsoever. I just didn't even consider him. I was going to go Justin, Shaw, Rudiger or Dallas for this spot, as I discussed in my last video. Justin and Shaw absolutely smashed it out the park, so that's really disappointing. I did escape Rudiger's own goal thing, so that's something at least. But Dallas is yet to play, and, you know, I regret not going back to Dallas because he's a me kind of player. So yeah, I'm regretting that because I think I want him more long term than what I wanted me. So the double game week planning has stuffed me over a little bit again this season. Cancelo did lose his clean sheet, so thankfully I didn't play both the City boys. That said, Stones did get a point extra than me, so cheers for that, me. That's quite amusing. Soufal chipped in with a clean sheet. Good times. I needed that. My midfield was just amazing this week. Following up from a good game week last week, Bruno got a monster goal for 7 points. Kane was back, and so that meant so was Sonny. A goal, minutes played, clean sheet point, and a bonus point for 10 points towards my team total from him. I'll mention Soucek first, as it was that City versus Liverpool game that saved my bacon this week. We've been done over. Let's just be honest about this. No way that was a red card for Soucek. I mean, the man was just wiping his eyes from the rain. I mean, he's just getting all the rain out of his eyes before defending a free kick. I mean, it's just madness. It was not a red card in any stretch of the imagination. So he was on for 3 points before that sending off. The red card has now been rescindicated, as well it should be, because it wasn't a red card. There was no ill intent there whatsoever. But unfortunately, I don't think that helps us FPL managers. I wonder if FPL will relook at this, maybe for the coming season, as, you know, that 3 points, it could be the difference between a player winning their mini league or going out of the cup. So yeah, it's very clear in the rules right now that once a game has finished and your points have been updated an hour after the game, then you can't have them back. So it's very clear right now. But, you know, I think it'd be kind of cool, especially with VAR the way it is at the moment. This sort of thing likely to happen again in the future, possibly, if it was maybe just had, you know, to be looked at maybe until leaving it, you know, until the end of the game week, maybe, before absolutely wiping out those points for people. Yeah, it's just a thought, but yeah. Salah nabbing that penalty was much needed for me, although I had Cancelo, so swings and roundabouts on that one. Gundog, though, when he missed that penalty, I thought, this isn't going to be my week. This just isn't going to be my week. I'll just give up. I'm resigned to it. Forget about it. Move on. Don't worry about it. And then he just comes out second half and decides, you know what, just go for it, innit? And then he gets a brace, nabbing all 3 bonus points. What an absolute G he's been, and he has saved my game week. There is no bones about that whatsoever. because it was looking quite grim given my captaincy blank as well. And with that, let's move on to my forwards. Antonio was my captain this week. This was purely a gut call and I went with it. And you know what? It hurts a little that Bruno and Son returned and that he didn't, but I don't regret it one bit. I felt so zen all weekend about it. I was just like, you know what? I wanted to put the captaincy armband on Antonio this week. I did that and I'm happy I did it. It was my decision. I was just so sick of following the crowd, to be honest. Every week, it feels like there's one or two massive picks and just have to get one of those two right to, get a green arrow effectively. So it was really nice just to do something completely different and go for it, basically. It sucks because obviously I could have had more points if I'd captained Bruno or Son like everyone else, but I wasn't upset about it whatsoever because it was my gut call. And I think that has taught me going forward now that it's okay to follow the crowd and it's okay to choose one of the top 2 captaincy choices of the week. But every now and again, if you have a feeling that you really want to go for a player, somebody completely different, and that's your feeling, I think you should just go for it because it feels much better when you do. Bamford is yet to play as I'm recording this on Monday. I'd love to get this video out very early on Tuesday morning for you guys, so that's my aim. As you know, my final assets in the final match of the game week very rarely do anything for me, so I'm not expecting very much. Anything else is a bonus. That means my 3 top scorers for Game Week 23 at the time of recording this video are the legend that is Martinez, it's a sunny day again, and Gundog's gotta eat, woof woof, gotta brace for breakfast. That means I'm on 59 points at the time of recording this with Bamford to go. That's a tiny, tiny green arrow at the moment, but I'm so close to a red. If any of the highly owned players from Leeds, such as Rafinha or Dallas, or even anyone highly owned from Palace that I don't own returns, then I'll likely be on a red arrow. But you know what? Considering the looks of things in Sunday afternoon, where I thought I'd be on a massive red arrow, I can't really argue with that. Of course, things could have been a lot better. I did bench Calvert-Lewin with his 12 points. I really struggled on who to bench this week. In hindsight, one of the West Ham lads would have been the better benching choice. But we all know how Soucek has punished if you bench him, and I wanted to captain Antonio, so I couldn't really bench him. So whilst it hurt to have 12 points on the bench, I'm okay with it because all of my other attackers returned except the West Ham lads, and I couldn't play DCL against United over the in-form West Ham against Fulham. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Looking ahead to Double Game Week 24, and is it time to play my bench boost? I've got a major benching headache if I don't bench boost this week, but I still have my wildcard, so I wonder if it's better to bench boost on a bigger double set up via my wildcard. That said, when I look at this team, it's tough. It's really tough this week, as you guys can see. I mean, it doesn't feel right benching Son with Kane back, even if they are against City. And the West Ham lads against Sheffield United is also a tough one. Antonio looks to be back for the weekend. I don't think he'll make the FA Cup. That's kind of touch and go, but he should be back for the weekend. And Soucek's card being overturned means he's available again. You know what? It'd be just like them to blank in one game week and then return in the next. It's a right headache. I always said I'd play my bench boost when I really couldn't choose who to play. So maybe now is the time? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who would you play? Would you bench boost? And if there's anything I'm missing with blanks and doubles down the line, then do let me know in the comments below. As for transfers, with already a benching headache, 6 double game week players and single game week players I'm pretty happy with and don't really want to sell because I've got a lot of money invested in them. I think I'll roll it. with the view to get some more Leeds/Southampton doublers in game week 25. If you're looking to bring in more Burnley or Everton ahead of the double game week, then for me, here's a couple of shouts and here's a couple of maybe stay away from. Calvert-Lewin has done quite well for me, so maybe you guys could consider him. If you didn't want to use up a forward spot, then maybe you could look at Rodriguez. I quite like Rodriguez. I know he hasn't had the most consistent starts because he had that little niggling injury, but you know, hopefully he would get some game time over those 2 matches. In terms of sticking with Everton, I have Digne. I've had him the last 2 game weeks and I'm not bowled over with him. He is attacking, but Everton are lackluster when it comes to keeping a clean sheet, so only go there if you're happy to take the risk. As for Burnley, I mean, attacking threat, I'm not sure I'd be investing any of my other spots for Burnley attacking threat. Their defence looks to be the best way to go. However, having got me, I don't feel massively happy about it. If you're going to plump for anyone, I think in defence, Pope. He seems to get, you know, a fair few of the bonus points, plus you get saves and things like that. Maybe you could look at one of the wing backs for Burnley. They're a lot cheaper as well than me and could get a cross for an assist. So there's a couple of options, but for Burnley, I'd stick defence if you want to take a bit of a punt. And then, yeah, it's up to you whether you really want to drop Martinez or whichever keeper you have to bring in Pope for the double. For me, no, I've got far too much money wrapped up in Martinez and I want him for the rest of the season, especially with Aston Villa's extra game weeks coming up. So it's not a swap for me. But if you don't have Martinez or you really want to attack the double and you've got some other plans on how to use your chips, then Pope could be a shout. My Game Week 24 captain is between Bruno, Calvert-Lewin and Gundogan. It's on Gundog at the moment, simply just because I see goals in those big games and Gundog's form is great at the moment. But I could easily see Bruno outscoring double game week players, especially against West Brom. And Calvert-Lewin has 2 home fixtures, so he can't be ruled out either. Again, I'm really sorry, I'm recording this early in the week, so I'll be going with my gut on this one and the captaincy call, just as I did last game week, because I felt so much better about that. Thankfully, there's a bit more time to have just some headspace to actually think about this week. I always let you guys know on social media, but yes, the curse is back, so whoever I end up vice captaining, it's probably likely that they'll do better, so you might want to captain them. And lastly, moving on to the trending transfers this week, let's take a look at the players in and out ahead of game week 24. Of the goalkeepers, Pope is the trendiest goalkeeper in with 53,000+ purchases at the time of recording, owing to Pope's up-and-coming double game week. Martinez is the next highest goalkeeper in with over 43,000 buys. McCarthy is the most transferred out goalkeeper ahead of game week 24 with 29,000+ sales. The next highest out is Lloris with 12,000+ managers getting rid of the Spurs goalkeeper. Of the defenders, Chilwell is leading the way out with 61,000+ sales. The second most sold this week is Robertson with over 50,000 managers selling on the Liverpool man. Diaz is the trendiest defender in with 74,000+ purchases. Wan-Bissaka is the second most bought defender after doing well in game week 23 with over 65,000 buys. In midfield, Gundogan is the trendiest midfielder in this week after his brace in game week 23, resulting in 287,000+ buys. Foden is the second most transferred in after his haul with over 84,000 buys. Souček is the most transferred out midfielder this week despite his red card being resyndicated, with 250,000+ sales. Son is the next highest midfielder sold this week with over 84,000 sales. Up front, Wilson is the trendiest forward out this week with 284,000+ managers moving on the Newcastle man. Antonio is the second most sold forward this week with over 66,000 sales. Calvert-Lewin is the front runner in the forwards category this week with over 286,000 purchases. Kane is back and is the second most bought forward ahead of game week 24 with 157,000+ buys. And that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. Lots of luck for Game Week 24. Please don't forget to check out the sponsors of this video, fantasyfootballfix.com. Thanks for sticking with me through that. Go on, you Bucks. Champa Bay, Buccaneers, get in. Can't believe it. I'm floating on air and probably lots of caffeine and sugar too. Hasn't sunk in yet because I spent most of the day prepping for this video, so I am just buzzing. I cannot actually believe it. Anyways, before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, Nymphria out.